It has been a busy year full of news, from a first in the governor's mansion to a sweeping new education bill, then a deadly plane crash and a missing child returned home safe after 2 long months. And THV11's Rolly Hoyt brings us the biggest stories from 2023.
They say all politics is local, but the election of Sarah Huckabee Sanders as the state's first female governor and her inauguration on January 10th infused national politics into almost every story that emerged from the Capitol the rest of the year.
Here in Arkansas, power belongs to no single individual. In Arkansas, power belongs to the people.
Within a day, a string of executive orders went out, taking shots at so-called woke language, pandemic policies, and other hot-button issues that mirror culture fights across the country. And then a couple of weeks later, a national stage all to herself.
The dividing line in America is no longer between right or left. The choice is between normal or crazy.
While the governor's platform reached beyond the state's borders, a teenager from Conway frightened and then amazed us with a cross-country escapade. 15-year-old Tanvi Marapali left her middle school January 17th and disappeared. Led to weeks of search efforts in and around the area until a tipster in Florida recognized her. On her own, she managed to ride the rails to Kansas City, then caught a bus to Tampa. On March 30th, she reunited with her family unharmed.
It crashed and had a giant fireball. I saw the ball of fire, yes ma'am. I could still see the smoke.
February 22nd brought a severe storm and then a deadly crash. 2 minutes after taking off from Clinton National in the middle of a thunderstorm, 5 people from an environmental cleanup company died when their private plane crashed near College Station. Investigators said weeks later that the pilot took off despite a wind shear advisory in place. About midway through the 94th General Assembly, a whirlwind change to education in Arkansas arrived. The governor's signature legislative effort, the LEARNS Act, overwhelmingly passed. The law raises teachers' starting salaries to $50,000, but it also expands vouchers to pay for private schools. Public school advocates tried to put the sprawling law directly before voters, but failed to get enough signatures. No event in Arkansas last year left as lasting a mark as the March 31st tornadoes. The complex dropped an EF3 funnel cloud on West Little Rock and carved a path through heavily populated areas on both sides of the river, tearing up communities in its wake. Another tornado would tear through Wynne and take the lives of 4 people. Timing and advance warning contributed to the miraculous fact that no one died in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Jacksonville, or Sherwood. But signs of devastation linger today as 2023 comes to a close and extensive rebuilding efforts continue. In the waning days of the regular session, the governor and the GOP supermajority quickly passed another tax cut. It reduced personal rates and cut corporate taxes in the face of steady state revenues that have kept a budget surplus in place. When a new law passed that imposed criminal penalties on librarians if kids got their hands on materials deemed pornographic, debate flared in Saline County. The conservative county judge and a majority of the quorum court pushed out the library director there when she pushed back against the new law.
Parents are the only ones who decide what their child reads, but they don't decide it for other parents' children.
A federal judge later put the law on hold, ruling it infringes on the First Amendment. A summer of sadness fell on the Razorback football family. Standout former Hog quarterback Ryan Mallett drowned while on vacation in Florida June 27th. Then 5 weeks later, former Razorback running back Alex Collins died in a motorcycle crash. After getting nearly everything she wanted from lawmakers in the first half of the year, the governor had a political hiccup come September. A barrage of records requests from critical bloggers prompted Sanders to ask lawmakers to tighten up the state's Freedom of Information Act.
Somebody suing the state of Arkansas can FOIA our attorneys to determine our legal strategy. That's not just crazy. It's a waste of taxpayer resources.
But even Republicans balked, and instead, a watered-down bill passed, and it overshadowed yet another tax cut that also passed. Certain security records can stay secret, but the trolling for documents turned up an outlay for a $19,000 lectern. Word on how that purchase went down is due early next year. The sadness for fans of the Hogs in the summer turned into a sour season for the current team. But the return of controversial coach Bobby Petrino gave fans a charge, hoping that the offense will rebound next year.
Yeah, I want to win. You know, I want to see us. I came back here to support Coach Pittman in winning.
Head coach Sam Pittman will stake his future on the hill to an offensive coordinator who delivered great success a decade ago, but lost it all when a motorcycle crash exposed an affair and got him fired. Who knows what news stories 2024 will bring, but we do have to lament a great friend won't be reading them to us. Craig O'Neill retires after 24 years at THV 11 and more than 50 years on Arkansas's airwaves. But we know he won't stop reading. Helping kids develop a passion for books will remain a passion of his. So we're sure we'll see him around wherever smiles and stories are being shared.